here we are with the legend of the Koenigsegg. This is the Koenigsegg One to One, one of only 7 cars ever made, which actually from those 7, one of them is a prototype. So practically there are only 6 production cars available in the whole world, and this is one of them. And look at the specifications on this car. Look at those pink accents on the door, on the canards, on the front splitter, on the side skirt. This is such a beautifully spec'd Koenigsegg One to One. And the name One doesn't stop only as a name. There are very, very interesting facts about this car that they are the very first in the whole world. And I'm going to go through all of them for you. This is cash and this is Benzini cars. The very first thing that I need to mention to you, that the name One to One stands for the 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. So this practically means that the amount of horsepower is literally equal to the weight that this car has. 1,360 horsepower for 1,360 kilograms of weight. And all this power actually translates to 1 megawatt of power, which makes this car the first mega car on the face of Earth. This is way beyond and above hypercars. This is a mega car, guys. And you don't want to mess around with a mega car, do you? Now, the drivetrain that creates those huge amounts of power is a 5-liter twin turbocharged V8 with a carbon fiber intake manifold, which only weighs 197 kilograms. And this is only just one small part of the attention to weight saving on this car. And guys, bear with me as I go through all the details how they managed to save all this weight to reach this power to weight ratio. The very first things that catches the eye is the fully exposed carbon fiber body on this car, which saves the weight. And then you can see on the wheels, these are the very first wheels that are created as a single piece hollowed out carbon fiber, which is actually named the Air Core carbon fiber wheels by Koenigsegg. And each wheel only weighs 6.5 kilograms, and all those 4 wheels together save up to 20 kilograms of weight. The next thing that saves the weight on this car is the 3D printed titanium exhaust system. And listen to this part. That titanium 3D printed exhaust system only saves 400 grams, which is actually a tennis racket. But if you put that mindset to each and every single detail and part implemented on this car, that is the way to reach this 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. Now let's talk about some of the aerodynamic features on the exterior of this vehicle. The very first things that catches my eye are these 2 sets of canards that we have, which create a lot of downforce, and this huge front air splitter. And there is a little feature to this front air splitter. As you can see, the towing hook doesn't exist on this car, and is actually implemented on top of the front splitter, which is directly connected to the chassis of this car, which is absolutely insane. And then as we move to the side, we have these beautiful side skirts and this huge air vent that helps the cooling and feeding the engine in the back, because this is the more track focused version of the kind of, you can say, the Agera. And this car actually is one of the first the only Koenigsegg and the first Koenigsegg that doesn't showcase the detachable rooftop. As you can see, since it is the more track focused version, it needs more cooling and feeding cold air to it. And you can see we have a air intake on top of the hood, and that is the reason that it does not come up with a detachable rooftop for the very first time on any Koenigsegg. And now as we move to the back, we have another very first feature for the very first time on any Koenigsegg, and this is this top mounting rear air wing. And guys, look at the size of this air wing. This is literally longer, is getting out of the whole proportion of the car. So the reason they have this rear air wing top mounted on the car is that you don't want to lose all the aerodynamic features that actually happen underneath the rear air wing, because all the drag actually happens underneath the air wing. So it is preferably better to put it on top of the vehicle, have it top mounted. And this top mounted huge rear air wing makes 610 kilograms of downforce, which is absolutely insanity, guys. I don't know how to put it into context for you. You just have to think about the craziness of it. And one of the insane features that this car has is actually on top of the vehicle before we reach the rear air wing and between the hood. And this is this little glossy part, which is actually a GPS, and it has all the famous tracks of the world implemented into its programming, which actually helps the car to adjust its suspension and its active rear wing as you are reaching the corners in famous tracks in the world. I don't know how they came up with these ideas, but this is such an insane car. Now that's it for the Koenigsegg 1-to-1, and stay tuned for the next Koenigseggs that I'm going to upload on the channel, guys. See you in the next one.